Hi everybody, I'm Erin from TerraWorks, and as Elaine said, today we're going to talk about the new version of TerraWorks that we just released. For those of you that have never used TerraWorks before, TerraWorks is a system that enables two-way data flow in remote places with no access to network. It has a Salesforce database in the cloud on the back end and an Android mobile app in the front end. So in Salesforce, you can build surveys and jobs to deploy to your mobile users. Those mobile users that can then use the information from the database to do their work, as well as make edits and create new data to sync back into the system. Users can then see reports and dashboards in Salesforce update with real-time information from the field. So TerraWorks is used to monitor schools, sell solar lamps, and train entrepreneurs, to name a few, but TerraWorks can be configured to meet almost any use case to manage your operations in the field. So let's dive into what's new. Some of the major features in TerraWorks 4.3 include the redesign of the Jobs Manager, drill-down hierarchy filters, editing published surveys, and also some mobile side improvements. So we'll start off with the redesign of the Jobs Manager. The look and feel of the Jobs tab now matches the Surveys tab. You'll no longer have to open a job in order to do several of the steps for publishing. You can now also launch the creation of a job target and change the job's owner directly from the Jobs Manager. Let's take a look. So this is the new Jobs Manager. It should look familiar because it's similar to the Surveys tab. You'll have a filter option in the upper left to display jobs by status. You can also sort the jobs that are displayed in the page by any of the column headers listed here. To create a new job, you click the New Job button in the center of the page. And you can also take actions on the job similar to surveys, such as editing, publishing, and closing jobs. In the More Actions menu, for a job in the draft status, you can clone or make a copy of that job, change the owner, or delete it if it's in a draft status. Also for a published job, you can preview the job, also make a copy, assign the job to public groups, which allows you to control who can see which jobs, create a new job target, and also change the owner. So let's go ahead and create a new job target. This is going to open the Performance tab and a new job target for you with the job that you were just working with pre-populated. So as a reminder, job targets are goals you can set for your field officers on a weekly or monthly basis so they can see their progress right on their device. So let's say I wanted to set a goal for my field officers to have a certain number of weekly check-ins. Let's say I wanted to do 10 for each person. You can have each field officer and mobile user have the same goal, or you can make mobile user specific goals as well. So once I save that job target, that is now available on the next sync for all the mobile users looking at that job or have that job. So that's a new Jobs Manager. Next, by popular demand, we've included drill-down hierarchy filters into TerraWorks 4.3. This allows you to further refine what data from the system will be displayed for use in each job. As a reminder, drill-down hierarchies are a series of related records that a mobile user can choose from to use in their job. So you might want to use these filters to help you facilitate field operations. For example, for a particular job, you may only want to show borrowers whose payments are past due, or only show biodigesters that have been flagged for maintenance, etc. For our examples today, we're going to be using a make-believe organization called Aquacomb that builds wells, sells water filters, and monitors the health progress of a community. So let's take a look at how these filters work. In my system, I have well sites and I have well site members. Let's say I have a job that I want to push to the mobile users' devices so that they have a list of well site members that they need to check in on. But I don't want to display all the well site members for each well site. I only want to display active members. So for well site Amber City East 10, I have 3 active members and 1 inactive member. And I also only want to display the members that have not been visited this month. So I can achieve this with a drill-down hierarchy filter. To set up a drill-down hierarchy filter, I'm going to do this on the job. And in this job, I have a drill-down hierarchy starting with the region. Then the mobile user would select the well site in the region that they're going to visit. Then they would select the well site member that they plan to check in on. And I only want to display certain well site members in that list. To limit it, I would add a drill down hierarchy filter by clicking Add on this right column under Filter Records. Then I can enter the conditions in which I want the records to have to pass in order to be displayed. So I want the active value to be yes, and I want them to have not been visited yet this month. So once you enter all your conditions, and all of them have to be met in order for a record to be displayed, you can go ahead, click Save, and publish that job. Once a job's been published and pushed to the device, then when the user drills down into that well site, Amber City East 10, they'll only see the 3 active well site members because of that filter. And if we went ahead and conducted a check-in on Beck Jones, the well site member, and I won't fill it out completely, but if I go ahead and sync this in, then now, because I've done a check on Beck Jones this month, he should be removed from the drill down hierarchy as a well site member to be checked in on. So when I start the job again, and I go back to Amber City East, he's no longer a well site member to be selected. So that's drill down hierarchy filters. You can create a drill down hierarchy filter using any field from each object except dates, relationship fields, text area fields, and geolocations. However, you could always use a formula field for a filter that requires one of these field types or more complex logic. The next feature is going to be a major time saver. You can now make edits to published surveys. This means you can make any edits without having to create and deploy a new associated job. The only exception is that you can't delete survey questions that are involved in a task mapping. And just a reminder, when you do a task mapping of a value from your drill down hierarchy into a survey question, that's the piece that takes the value from the record the mobile user has selected and pre-populates it as a response to one of the survey questions. So let's take a look at an example with the member check-in job. Let's say I have a request from the field to add a question to the well site member check-in survey to ask how many children there are in the household. So even though the status is published to this well site member check-in survey, as you can see, the edit icon is still available to be clicked. So to add a question, I would just click edit. I can choose to edit the alias, add a description, change the message after submission, etc. if I wanted to. And I can also add questions. So I'm going to add a number question for the number of children in the household. So the only changes I cannot make is delete questions that are involved in the task mapping. For this particular survey in the job we were just looking at, the well site name and the well site member name are involved in one of those task mappings. So if we go back to that draft job, that's a copy of the job that's been published, and look at the task mapping for our survey, the survey questions well site name and well site member name are both being utilized in the task mapping. So because that's associated with the published survey, we're not going to be able to delete either of those questions. So now we've added our new number question. We're also going to want to map that so the data gets stored somewhere. And that's it. So I've added a question, mapped it to a field on an object, and saved. Now the only thing I have to do to push that change to the mobile device is publish. So as you can see, when we come back to our well site member check-in survey, the status is now updating, which indicates there's been changes made since the survey's been published that have not been pushed to the device. So now to publish those, just click the publish button, and that's it. So on the next sync, our mobile users will be able to see that new question. So I will go ahead and sync the device. And while we're waiting for that to sync, if you wanted to go back and look at the different versions of a survey that you've pushed to the device, you can go to the Preview action under the More Actions menu, and now there's a drop down in the top of the survey so you can select the different versions to view. Okay, now that that's synced, we can go back into the job and into the survey, and that new question should have been added. And there it is. So that's editing published surveys. Finally, we've made some changes on the mobile side as well. Currently in our mobile app, we have logs and they record what's happening with TerraWorks on the device. These are extremely helpful when issues or questions arise in the field, but they're not enabled by default. So now mobile users are going to be prompted to enable those logs if they haven't done so already. And there's also a new feature that prevents the ability of the mobile user to send empty logs, which we've seen at times in the past. Also, all the required questions will now be denoted with an asterisk. And finally, with the ability to edit published surveys, you may want to know which version of a survey a particular mobile user is on. So let me show you where that's available. If we go back into the simulator or the mobile device, as you can see the number of children in the household, there's an asterisk automatically added to the end of that question because I made it required. Also, to see the version of the survey that you're on, you can use this three-dot menu in the upper right, or it may be the native menu button on your device depending on the phone or the tab. And you should have an option now to see the survey version. So I can see I'm on version 10 of the survey. Okay, so hopefully now you're excited to upgrade to TerraWorks 4.3. So let's review a few reminders about the upgrade itself. Firstly, you should always schedule your upgrade for a time of low activity. This upgrade from TerraWorks 4.2 can take about an hour, but I'd allow for about 2 just to be conservative. And the steps to upgrade are posted on our Zendesk site. So please complete all of the upgrade articles and steps. Also, when you're initially installing the managed package in Salesforce, don't forget to elect to install for specific profiles. If you skip this, this is what updates your TerraWorks users' permissions to be able to use those new features. And it's a tedious process to have to do manually, so definitely don't skip that step. After you've installed the managed package, then on the next sync, all of your mobile users will be prompted to download and install the new APK, which is about 10 megabytes. So a good connection is recommended. If you haven't completed all the upgrade steps, the mobile users won't be able to use this new version they've downloaded and installed. So make sure you communicate the upgrade timeline to your field teams accordingly. One last thing I'd like to mention is that we did have to make some changes to our PPI templates in order to make them compatible with some of these new features. So therefore, starting July 11th, which is this coming Monday, if you'd like to download a new PPI template, you need to be on TerraWorks 4.3 or above. This is only for downloading new templates, so if you have already downloaded and are using PPI templates, you're not going to be affected. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at hello@terraworks.org or support@terraworks.org, and please visit our Zendesk site for the upgrade instructions. Thank you and have a great day.